Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be making this super cute and fun unicorn invitation. It is a shaker card, so it's something fun and cute that your guests can get. My daughter is going to be turning 9 and she's going to be having a unicorn party, so this will be super fun and cute for her guests. If you guys have not yet, please make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you are the first to be notified when a video is uploaded. Otherwise, stay tuned. So for the inside, all I did was I created a rectangle. So I came over here and I traced or created a rectangle. And then for the sizing, what I did was on the card, it told me how big the card that I used was. So I just sized it down to that. So here you'll have to have that unlocked. The height of the card was 5.5 and the width was 4.25. So that will size it down exactly how I need it. So for the unicorn, I go over to my library and I had 2 unicorns in my library. So I chose the one that I wanted. And this was it. And I believe I bought this in the design store, Silhouette Design Store. So if I can find it, I'll definitely link it down in the description box below. I ungrouped it because I wanted to get rid of Unicorn Princess. So then I took it and I grouped everything back after that so that I could size it down. And I placed it there. And then for the words, all you have to do is go to your text tool, and I put your invited. You can go ahead and change that to the color that you want. Change the line color, and then you can just bring it down to the size you want. Again, to make sure everything was centered. And look, I can see here I still have my lines that are red. What I do is this one with the little lines in it, it makes it transparent, so it just takes away that color. Again, it's not gonna, when you print it, those lines are just cut lines, they won't come up, but I like to just do it for visual. So then I come over here just to make sure everything is centered. Go to the transform panel and center it. I can group it. And then to make sure that it's centered here, you have to make sure that first you group this. You might be able to do it all together, just make sure everything's grouped. But this is just the way that I do it. And then there you go. So that tells me it's in the middle. And then again, with your trace tool, you can just go in and do date. Choose the font that you want. Bring it down. And then I like to just right click and go to duplicate. And let's see, we'll duplicate one more time. And then you can just double click on it to change the words. So when everything is the way that you want it, whatever you choose for these to say, you can select them all. And then again, in our transform panel, you can align them. I do the horizontal and then it aligns them all to the right. You can group them. Oh, and you know what? Let me show you with the spacing. You can see how these are closer than the time. So in the transform panel, you can also go down here and they have one that says spacing. So vertical, it'll just space those out so they're all even. You can size them down, group them, whatever you choose to do. And then if you're going to print these and have somebody actually fill them out with all of that information, you can do that. Or while you're in here, you can put the date July 5th, 2020, or whatever the date's going to be that you do it. So that way when you go to print it, then you don't have to fill anything out. And then once everything is done, I would just go in. I like to group everything. And then I keep these lines red because when I go in, it just tells it's easier for me. Like I always say, it makes sense in my head that way. So I go to send. And then you could see here that it's showing me that it's going to cut all of that. And so we can go up here to line. And I want the red line. So I'm going to uncheck the black line. And there we go. It will cut it. And I forgot one step before that. Before you do that, you are actually going to have to print this. So duplicate, let's see, we could probably fit them in if we turn them. So that way we can print 2 to a page. Here you're going to want to turn on your registration marks. And then you want to make sure that they are in between these boxes. So we need to bring this one up. Now you can go to send. And when I go, after I printed this, I print it, of course, I put it on my mat. Now what it's going to do is it's just going to cut around that box. So you'll have your information. And then from here, we're ready to add that as the other part of our card. All right, guys, so once you're in Silhouette Studio, what you're going to want to do to create the clear piece for your card is I just went and I created a circle. So you'll come over here to your shapes, choose a circle. And I created mine to be 3 inches. So you can lock it and then just hit 3 and it'll automatically change. So once you have your circle, you're just going to come over here to your text and you can choose, you know, whatever you want it to say, whether it be happy birthday, you know, so-and-so's turning whatever age, whatever you want it to say. So I just chose my daughter's name and I put, she's turning 9. Then I come over here and you can choose the font you want. And all of my fonts, I get them from, or most of them anyway, they come from DeFont. So let's see, I always just change it, the color, so that I could see it a little bit better. And then you can center it. And then down here where it says character spacing, I went to line spacing and I just brought that up just a little bit. You can do, you know, what you like. And then you're just going to size it down so that you can fit it into your circle. Okay, so if I liked it there, I would select everything and then I'd come over here to this tool, the transform panel. And here you can choose to get it aligned where you want it centered. You can click this one and it'll center it. Sometimes it brings it too far up or too far down for me. So I like to go in and do it just to kind of get it aligned, and then I place it where I want. So if I like the way this was here, let's change these lines to black. So if I liked it there, you can just take it, group it, and then you're ready to go. So that's what would print. And again, when you're printing, in order to do the foil, it has to be a laser printer. So if you don't have a laser printer and you have an inkjet, you can send it to a place like Staples or something like that, where they can print it for you. Just make sure that the ink that they're printing on, it is laser. Most of the time it is, but just make sure you double check, because this ink, the black ink, has to be laser toner in order for the foil to pick up. So you can duplicate it and fill your page. Okay, so if I was ready to go, I want to turn on my registration marks. And I'm sorry, no. You do not need to turn on your registration marks. We're not cutting this. So skip that step. But okay, so now you have circles. Now you can choose to keep these. They won't print. The cut line, the red one, it's just a cut line. So if, for instance, we were cutting this out, that's where I would turn on my registration marks, it'll cut out. But because we're not cutting it out and we just want it to print, you can leave those there. I use them just as a guide because that's the size of my circle that I'm cutting out. It's like, again, like I said, it's not gonna print. It's really just for me when I get here. So honestly, if I wanted to ungroup this and I wanted to take that away, I could do that with all of them. And it would be fine, because all I need is the words and I just need them spaced out to cut. So hopefully that makes sense. So what you would do now is you would just go and you would send this to the printer that is the laser printer. If you do not have a laser printer and you're gonna take it to Staples or something like that, then you would just wanna save this file and then send it over to them and follow their process, so that when you pick it up, you know, of course, it's just gonna be your however many prints you choose, and it will be laser ink. So after that, then you would go to the next step, and that's where we're gonna foil these.
So this is the clear film that I used. I picked this up from Hobby Lobby. I have an inkjet printer, so you just want to make sure that you get what works for the printer that you have. And then I use a little bit of heat resistant tape to put that onto a regular piece of copy paper, just because my printer didn't want to print it by itself. So this was the way that I did it, and it helped print that. So from here, I got some Deco Foil. Again, you can pick this up at Hobby Lobby or your local craft store. And I am going to just cover it with the foil. So you'll see here, I'm going to cut it down to size. It does come with about 5 sheets of this foil. And then you just want to be able to cover the toner or the print with the foil. You want to make sure that you cover that good. And then you guys will see that I'm going to get a little bit more of that heat tape, and I'm going to tape it down just so that it doesn't move when it is going through the laminator. So once you got everything in place, you're going to want to place that in the carrier sheet that came with your laminator. Here you guys will see I am using the Mink by Heidi Swapp, but any laminator will do. And then you guys will see I like to give mine a good run through twice, just to make sure that everything sticks. Now that you have ran it through your laminator, you can go ahead and take that foil off, and you guys will see here that my results, they came out okay. Maybe just playing around with the paper you use, but for me, it's gonna work for this project. So you're just gonna wanna cut those down, and then you guys will see that I am going to use a die cut to cut a circle out. These products were all products that I had on hand, and so I got these from Stampin' Up. You can go to your local craft store to get these, and you're just going to get the favorite shape that you want, and you will run it through your die cutting machine. I used the Big Shot, and I got this from Stampin' Up, but your local craft store may carry something like this. And what it's just going to do is it's going to cut that circle out of the film. And then here you will see I am using watercolor paper, and I'm going to use that same die to cut a circle, and it's the exact same size. So I picked up this watercolor paper from Hobby Lobby, but again, you can get that from your local craft store, and you are going to want to use that same size die to go ahead and run that through and cut that out of your watercolor paper. And this is the dies that I'm using. So mine came with a set of different shapes, and so I'm going to use the same die, and then I'm going to get a smaller one, and what you'll see is I'm going to cut the frame. And so you will want to cut 2 of those circles. So again, you'll see me here cutting that again. I need one for watercolor and then another one. You'll see I use that, and then I get the smaller die, and this is going to create the frame for the card. So now that you have everything cut out, you want to take a sandwich bag and some markers and color just a little bit onto that sandwich bag. And then you're going to want to spray it with a little bit of water so that you can use the watercolor paper that you cut out to create that watercolor effect on the back or the backing of your card. Once you have that done, you just want to take your heat tool and dry that a little bit just so that it dries a little bit quicker. To repeat the process, all you need to do is take a dry paper towel and wipe that off, and then you will just repeat the process. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to take some foam tape. I got this from my local Dollar Tree, and what you're going to want to do is I used the smallest size that they had. And what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to cut that down in half. And so that's what you'll see me doing here. I kind of just wrapped it around the circle so I knew how much I needed to cut off. And then you'll see that I still have the backing on there, and I'm just going to go through. This process was not the easiest, so if you can find tape that is a lot skinnier, you just want to find something that your border is going to cover. So like I said, mine was a little bit thicker, so I had to cut it down, but if you can find something smaller, then that's even better. So now that you have it cut in half, or if you skip that step, what you're going to want to do is you're going to take the release paper off, just because it makes it a little bit easier to move it around the circle instead of having the paper on there. If you have the paper off, then it's just going to make it a little bit easier for you to go around that circle. Now that you have your foam tape on there, you can add your favorite sequins. And I did want to mention that when you have your foam tape, if you want to do a double layer of that, you can go ahead and do that, and you'll just stick them to each other. And what they'll do is it'll help the card shake a little bit better. So once all your sequins are added, you're just going to take that top piece and you're going to want to line it up to the back cardstock piece. And you're just going to want to adhere everything, and then you're going to take your border and add a little bit of glue just so that you can line that up and adhere everything, and your piece, or the top of your piece for your card, will be done. So now I am taking some Versamark ink and I am going to heat emboss on the card that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. And so here you'll see that I'm prepping everything, and I'm going to take my stamp and stamp it in the Versamark. And then you'll see that I'm going to take my heat embossing powder and I'm going to heat set that with my heating tool. So this tool that I got it from Michael's, and it's actually been a really long time. So if you want to do this step, you can just find something that you like that's similar, that they still may carry. And then you can see here, I just line those up. They have the little holes on the side, and you line them up so that you know where to punch next. But I thought this would be cute and fun to add to the bottom. And then you guys will see in just a little bit, we're gonna add some little embellishments to go over that. Next, you're just going to want to take some adhesive and you're going to want to adhere that circle piece to the front of your card. So once I had everything together, I felt like something was missing. So I'm just going back and doing that same process of the embossing. So I took my stamp and I just added another little, there's stars and dots, and I just added that to the bottom. So now what I'm doing is I am adhering the front piece to another piece of cardstock. So I cut this cardstock down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that was just the size of the card that has the unicorn on it that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going to put that to the back so that you can see the yellow coming through at the bottom where we hole punch the little holes. You can see the yellow coming through. And here in just a little bit, you guys will see I'm going to grab some rhinestones and I'm going to adhere those. And so having that cardstock in the back will help. So here I just needed a little bit more adhesive just so that everything would stick well. So now you guys can see here, this is where I added the rhinestones. And so I'm using glue that, again, I picked up at my local craft store. And then these little containers here I picked up also at the craft store. And so that just helps me because the rhinestones are so small. I just want to use a little bit of glue, but you guys can see here I use this little tool that I got on Amazon to help me place those rhinestones into place. And so I will make sure that everything is linked down below along with the rhinestones that I also picked up on Amazon. So now we're going to go ahead and put everything together. I got these little eyelets and this tool from my local craft store. The tool is called the Crocodile, and these little fun pieces, they are called eyelets, and they come in fun colors. And so here what you'll see I'm going to do is I am going to choose the color that I feel looks best. The tool is going to help me punch a hole, and then it's going to help me set everything. And so what you guys will see me doing here is when I lined everything up, I noticed that the back piece was a little bit larger or a little bit longer than the front piece. So I'm just going to measure that up and cut that down. And then you guys will see me go ahead and proceed with choosing a color. So like I was saying, the tool will help me. It's actually going to punch the hole, and then it's going to set the eyelet. And so this will make it so that my card will be a swing away card. And there you go. This card was super cute and fun to make. I hope this video was helpful for you to be able to create something that is similar, and I would love to see what you guys are creating. So again, if you have not yet, please make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you are the first to be notified, and follow us on social media. We have a Facebook group where I will go live in. Until then, I will see you guys on the next video.